Good day, everyone, and you are welcome to our fourth video on CHCAGE011, which is providing support to people living with dementia. Please, if you are just joining us, you can please watch our past video on this topic. But today we are going to be going forward on communication strategy for providing care information. As a care worker, you should inform the carers and family member about the person's care in a supportive manner, and we should do that considering the following strategies. We should do that by using simple terms, listen actively to the client as well as their family. We should provide further information that needs to be reviewed by the family and their carers, as well as our supervisor if there is need. And we should be able to speak confident because, of course, we have the necessary skill and training to be able to do our job. So working with person, that is the person with dementia, their carer and their family, we need to understand their skill and preference. It is important to choose activities that the person with dementia will really enjoy, and this will motivate them to take part in these activities. This can only be done, or this can only be achieved by communicating right with the family member, the person themselves, in order to know what is it that they really want, what is their preference, how do they really live day to day, and what are their likes, what are their don'ts. And we can start this conversation about them with some certain topics that they feel they are very happy with, or they are very open to. Show them pictures of different activities that you are suggesting to them, or of course having learned from them as well as their family members. There are few background information that you'll have come up with. So come up with activities that still go along with that history that they've had in the past. Observe what they chose to do when given that freedom, and observe how they react to something that you see, if they like it or not. Ask them what the person likes and doesn't like, current or in the past, and have them to take the person out on activities in order to really support them. So to understand the person's interest by working with them, you can also do the following. As a care worker, we should be very, very observant. We should observe what the person like to watch or read, and take note of everything that we observe. We can also ask them by using some interest in what they are interested in, and using some visual aid to be able to communicate better, to get all this data assembled, so that going forward we'll be able to have things that we can work on. And ask if you can look at something that the person has kept from their younger age. This also will give you some background understanding on what you can suggest in their day-to-day activities. Use strength-based approach to meet individual needs. Of course, when we are able to look into this past, we are going to identify a few things or few skills that the clients have in the past. So having this background understanding, we can use this as the strength-based approach to focus on using their personal strength. What is it that they are good at? This is an approach that embraces getting to know the person, and which is looking beyond the illness and the deficit. This approach was created in response to the deficit-based approach, and the deficit-based approach focused only on the wrong things or what is missing. So you that you are dealing with strength-based approach, you should look at what are those things that the person with dementia is really good at. So when you know that, you can use this to give the individualized plan to identify if there is even any behavior or potential triggers that can affect them while you want to do any form of activities with them. This is more or less like saying you are doing what they call a risk assessment before you start engaging your client. So identifying behavior that they are not happy with. There are few types of behavior. We have the physical aggression. Physical aggression behavior include someone trying to eat you or trying to bite you or throwing things at you. While verbal aggression involve insulting you, yelling, or even calling you names. Uh, there will be a lot of this, particularly with people with dementia. We should just need to understand that it is actually the diseases or that is actually making them to feel that way, not the person themselves. Some might have what they call sexual inappropriate behavior by touching themselves in the public or even touching the carers inappropriately. If you meet yourself in this situation, please try to redirect them to do the right thing. Um, Other than that, of course, the next thing is below are some example of possible triggers for people living with dementia. The triggers include psychological. Example of psychological triggers is inability to express themselves, sudden separation of sudden separation of them from their loved ones, or feeling helplessness or depressed. Some medical triggers can include the side effects that someone may have when they take some medication. For example, if they are taking pain or headache medication, they might show some adverse reaction. So we should be able to observe and note if there's anything in that situation. Environmental, sudden change in environment, just as we've said in some of our past video, can also affect the way in which or can trigger things in your client. So too much or too little stimulation can also be a trigger. Lack of rules or ways of doing things, or even mess and clusters. These are things that are likely to affect or that are likely to trigger, be some sort of trigger. So other than that, identifying and knowing all this will make you to have what we call the personal center care approach towards their individualized plan. So below the years, we've just talked about some of those triggers. Observe the person closely when you spot or an instance of identifying any form of behavior. Take note of what is probably causing this type of behavior. Ask them about what they are feeling. Why are they behaving in that way? Read up any medication that they are presently using. Could that be the reason why they are acting up? Is it after the medication has been administered? And is it the end result, or are they actually uh, reacting towards the medication that they've been taking? So this, as well as more of what we've already said in the past, are what are likely to be the triggers with regards to your client. Sometime when you recognize their behavior or indicate of stressor, some changes in the behavior result from stress that the person with dementia express. Stress can come from events, objects, or even people. Unmet needs or unmet needs could also be a form of stress. So, as a carer, we need to learn how to recognize behavior and show sign or when they are showing any form of signs of stress, and we should be able to know how best we can support them in this kind of situation. If they are stressed, there will be a lot of negative impact towards in them. So some of the negative impacts that we can identify in order for us to know whether they are in stress or not include noise, light, and cluster. The impact is this thing could cause overstimulation. If there is too much light or too much noise, it can involve overstimulation and they will just start acting aggressive towards others or even lashing out. If there is natural disaster, any natural disaster can cause feeling of fear. Crowd and social gatherings sometimes can be overwhelming for some of our staff or for some of our clients. So if your client is someone that doesn't like going into a crowd, or you realize that whenever they are in that space they become to be a little bit agitated, try to remove them from that kind of environment and redirect or even take them to somewhere that is so calm that they can feel safe. Sudden change in environment also can really cause confusion and can really uh, form some kind of stress for your clients. All these are all the things that we need to be quite observant about, and we should try as much as possible to guide against them. Unmet needs. These are needs that could be biological, emotional, or even social. If a person needs are not met, then it can cause a lot of stress. Stress can lead to negative behavior, and identifying this behavior will help you to identify the person unmet needs. And this, of course, will allow you to address it appropriately. Because, of course, when you understand or when you know this is the problem, then finding the solution will not be a, will be much more easy when we already identify what the problem is. And the next on our discussion is support the person to engage in activities that promote independency. Activities that promote independence, of course, will be what they like to do and how they want to do it. Activities that promote independence are ones that the person can do on their own. When you are thinking of this kind of activities, you should always remember that your client's safety is paramount. Don't say because they are good at this, you allow them to just go ahead and do it without thinking about the safety or the consequence of safety part of that particular activities. Along with that, you should also prioritize their needs and their preference. There are many modified activities that the person with dementia can do, and this uh, can alternate depending on where they are living, their accommodation, and who is living with them. So there are many modified activities that the person with dementia can do. Some of the modified activities can include probably cooking, driving, even doing some cross or puzzle work. Uh, just make sure that these activities that you are bringing to the table are the ones that they like to do, and their preference is always at the middle of that particular decision. So you as a care worker, you need to engage the person in activity to ensure that they gain the benefit of that particular activities. You can provide engagement to the person by applying strategies which include finding out what really motivates them, and let them do the activities with people they are comfortable working with. Familiarize them with the activities first and give them reassurance so that whenever they are ready or willing to do this, they have that level of understanding, and they can actually carry it out without them feeling afraid or not being sure of what they are doing. Here are some supportive activities that people in dementia can do. Uh, Schedule these activities at the best time, and provide them with adaptive tools that will make them do this in a very safe manner. Example can be maybe you take them out for painting, you engage them even in swimming, provided they have that capacity to be able to swim. Some of them might like to do some puzzle works. Some people can even like to go to the museum, even uh, go to pub, go to a place where they can go ahead and sing. These are activities that we can suggest and we can try to put forward for our clients, depending, of course, on their preference. This is where we are going to call it a day today. Thank you all for your time, and I will see you at our next recording. Bye for now.